This year I decided to get into beekeeping, and I ended up with 4 hives. It's kind of a long story, but I bought one, and it turned out the bees had swarmed. It was a dead hive. There's nothing in there. And then I ended up buying another one, and that time I bought all of his equipment, and that was an excellent hive. I had to split it immediately after getting it. But anyways, so this is my first year doing beekeeping, and I already extracted some honey out of that hive that I told you was a good hive, and it did amazing. I think I got just under 5 gallons. I almost had a full 5-gallon bucket. So I'm not experienced at beekeeping, but I thought I would do a video showing someone who doesn't have any experience doing it, just so if you're interested in beekeeping, you can kind of see from someone who really doesn't know what they're doing, to kind of give you a better idea if it's something you want to get into. I mean, I watched all kinds of videos out there, and there's great ones, a lot of good beekeeping videos out there. I don't really want to name anyone in particular because I think there's just several of them out there, and I watch all of them. And what I've learned is every beekeeper has their own way of doing things, and they're all right. So it's whatever works for you. But I just wanted to kind of show you, if you're new to beekeeping or thinking about getting into beekeeping, sometimes it helps to watch someone who doesn't really know what they're doing, and you know, you can feel a little more confident that, you know, seeing it's really not that bad. But anyways, so I'll just kind of go over what we got here. So these are going to be my frames that have the honey in them. And so right now this box is actually a deep box. I'm just using it to put those frames in when I went out and got them. But they are typically in a shorter box, and that's called your honey super. These frames here, they're not as filled out as good as my first round. I wish I would have recorded that one. It went really good. But anyways, so what I did was I went out to the hive, and I got these frames out, and I got them inside now. Then this tub here, I just have a board, got a couple screws in, and a couple holes here to keep it from sliding around on me. And then there's another screw ran up right through here. And what I'll do is take these frames and set them on there, and then we'll cut the capping off. So we'll show that whole process. But all the cappings are going to fall in here, all the wax. There'll be some honey too, but we'll get that out later. And then over here I just have some of my tools. So this I just bought, and what this is for is, well, let's start with, we'll use this knife to cut the cappings off, but sometimes they're in a little bit and you don't quite, you just got to break that wax off. I'll show you more detail here in a minute. But anyways, you can use this tool to kind of scrape those cappings off. And then this is what I used last time, and it's just, you just scrape those cappings with it. But I've seen some videos where guys were using these, and they seem to work really good, so I went and got one of those. And then the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use a refractionometer, and what I'm going to do is put some honey on here, and then we're going to let a little light through, and we're going to look in here, and there'll be a little prism, and we're going to see, we want to be under 18% moisture. There's also, you know, again, there's videos out there that guys get into detail about this, and some will explain to you that just because you're under 18 doesn't necessarily mean it's still good, because it can, there's different things there can be in there. There can be like a high yeast content that can cause it to ferment, and that's what we're looking for, is that we're keeping the moisture down. So again, you know, go to some other videos out there where the guys actually know what they're talking about. But anyways, so I'll use it to check the moisture, just so we have an idea. If we're crazy high or something, then we're going to do something different. And then I'll take you over here. Excuse my garage. It's like anyone's garage. It's a mess. So here's my honey extractor. And again, that good hive that I bought, I got the hive and all of his equipment. So he already had this. and he set it up. Let's see if you can see. Yeah, he made a little base for it on wheels so you can wheel it around and puts it up a little higher. So it worked really good. But all we did here is we'll take, once we uncap those frames, we're gonna put them inside here, and they'll just slide right in there, and then you'll spin it around and you'll put another one in. And then it's simply the centrifugal force of this spinning that flings the honey out. So you wanna make sure you have two in there. If you only had one, it would be way off balance. But we'll put them in and we'll spin it for a little bit, get that honey out, and then I'll flip the frame around so we can draw it out of the other side. And we'll do the same here. We'll flip them both and then spin it again for a while. And then that honey just goes down. And I was really surprised at just how much honey you get out of one frame. But once we get enough in there, then we will open up this gate down here and allow the honey to flow through that screen. And that's all I'm gonna do for filtering. There's 2 layers to that, and that'll get most of everything out of it. I'll show you that. So this comes out, and you can see that's gonna catch the larger particles, and then this one will catch your finer particles. And that's gonna be my finished product. I'm not doing anything else with it. So, you know, if you hold that jar up, you're gonna see, you know, it won't be perfectly clear honey, but that's the way I like it. That's the good stuff. We don't want to get it all out of there. But we're basically here, we're just making sure we get all the bees' wings and, you know, whatever else, all the wax and everything that might be in there. And then they make different types of filters. And you can get these in like a 200, 400, or 600 micron. This is a 400 here. For today, I'm gonna go ahead, I think, and use just that one that worked real good last time. I'll try these again in the future. This is a Hive Tool. And we'll just take and pop these loose. Not too bad. Pull one out. And you kind of see what's going on here. Let me grab a empty one. So this is a different frame. This is a one you'd use in a brood box. It's a deep one, but that's what they look like. They just have this plastic foundation on them, and they have like a light wax coating on there, and then the bees draw this out and make the honeycomb, which is pretty interesting. So then, once they get it drawn out, that's what you got. So all of that is wax that the comb that the bees have made, and then they filled it with honey, and then they cap it with wax. So like right here is uncapped. You can see some honey in there, but all of this is capped. And so what we want to do is use that knife and cut the capping off so we can expose this honey and get it to extract out. So that's what I'm going to do now. These, like I said, I wish I would have done the my first round. I wish I would have videoed that because they were a lot better. They were drawn out perfect. I mean, I really am happy with those bees out there. But anyways, so all we're gonna do is we're gonna just take this knife and come down and try and cut that capping off. So hopefully you guys can see that. We just kind of, again, this is my second time doing this, so please take it easy in the comments. I'm open to criticism as far as constructive criticism that I can learn from. And like I said, we'll get all that out later. And then this is, you can use this to get any that, didn't come loose, but most of ours all did really good. So So then we'll flip it to the other side. And we'll try the same thing. Hope you guys got a good view of this. So that one I wasn't able to get it cut completely, and it's because I'm going up against this frame and this frame. So if it's drawn in some, then I can't get that. So previously, on my last round, I used this tool, and you just scrape it. Let me finish cutting this top. I forgot it. So you can use the scraper and just kind of scrape it off, and that works good. But I want to try this roller. I don't know, honestly. I guess I'll run it through the extractor and see how it does. Okay, so both sides are uncapped, and now I can stick it in the extractor. And then I got to do the same thing on another one. Oh, before we do that though, we're going to take some of this honey and we're going to check that moisture. So I want to calibrate this refractometer, and it'll read sugar bricks and it'll read the moisture. So to calibrate it, we're just going to use some extra virgin olive oil. We're going to put a few drops of that on there. Just want to cover the screen. And then I just let some light up through there. You want to be 71.5. So we are exactly 71.5. I have my air conditioner running in my garage to keep the humidity down in here. One of the videos I watched, the guy was talking about just even the humidity in the air can be drawn to your honey. So have that going. And then I'm just going to take a sample right off of here. Let's see if you guys can see this. But we are perfect. $16.5. I don't know if you can see that. But anyway, so I'm doing that just to make sure that, our moisture is good. But from what I understand, typically the bees know. They know exactly when that moisture is right, and they'll cap it. So it's really only the stuff that's uncapped that you need to worry about if you're extracting any of it. But for the most part, you're fine, but I just feel better that I'm checking it myself. And that honey is delicious. Not that I'm eating it off of the refractometer or anything. Wouldn't ever do that. So this one, you can see, it's got a lot more area that is uncapped. So that's probably going to be a higher moisture content, but it's going to mix in with all of this other, and I believe it'll be just fine. So we don't need to cut too much off of that top. And like I said, we will still get all this honey out of here too. I'll let that filter through when we're all done. And we'll pull quite a bit out of just it. Let's try this thing again. Now, can you see the difference on this side? See how it's, when they drew this comb out, it's wavy. So when we cut this down, because we're going to reuse these, we're going to get all the honey out and we're going to give it back to the bees and they'll refill it. So I like to go ahead and just cut that down to where it's level, so when they, they don't have this crazy comb going. So yeah, I'm cutting a lot of honey right there, but we'll get all that out of there. You gotta watch, I learned you will cut into your frame, or your into the wood. So that went pretty good. We don't need to do anything. We'll go ahead and put it in the extractor. We have them to where they're facing like that, so that, I don't have it where it's the same exact way as that one. They're opposite, so we can keep that even for that centrifugal force. And then we'll just put this back on. And we start spinning. And I don't know if the camera's picking that up, but you can already see it flinging out to the edge. They make motorized extractors and all kinds of different sizes. I mean, you get great big commercial ones. This is a cheaper version. When I bought it off the guy, he told me he just got it off of Scamazon, and he said it was a cheaper one, but it works great. I didn't have any issues with it. But you can definitely get them in all different sizes, and you can get them motorized. It's however much you want to spend. So honestly, one thing I don't know for sure is exactly how long you need to spin it. I haven't been going but maybe a minute or so with mine. But some of the videos, I kind of wonder if I shouldn't be going longer. It seems like some of them go a little bit longer. And so what we did was we drew it out of this one side. You can see that that's empty, but the other side is still full. So we need to flip them. That side's empty. And again, we lay them in there so they're not the same way, they're on opposite sides. And that was not even a minute of spinning, so we'll go again. So there it is. And you can see that, I don't know if it was that roller or what, but that comb, you know, it's pretty messed up. Those bees will fix it. They'll get in there and clean that all up. They'll get all that taken care of, and this side went really nice. Anyways, we'll put that back in the box. I'll clean some of this wax off of here and throw that in my wax bucket. Can you guys see in there? I don't know if you can see how much honey we got from just those 2 frames. It's really hard for me to tell. I would say we're 3/4 of an inch to an inch. When I get this all cleaned up, I can see it's just above, just starting to get on top of that stainless steel circle plate at the bottom there. So when I'm all done, I can measure that, but I'm just kind of looking at the side and it looks closer to an inch, but we'll find out at the end here. But anyways, just showing you, you get a lot of honey out of just a couple frames. Not sure how well you can see, but we are just up to the top of the gate. And the problem is, if you get too much in there, it'll start dragging on your basket and making that hard to spin. So you don't want it to get too full. So we're gonna go ahead and dump out what we have. I'm going to loosen this wing nut and then open this gate, and that'll let the honey flow through, and then we'll strain it. And I got my helper here, and she is going to take a reading, and we're just gonna see what our moisture is coming out of here. Nope, just use your finger. Just a little. Yep. How's it taste? You shy? Go ahead and close that and then get your reading. Got enough on there?
What's it supposed to be at?
Well, what do you got?
Maybe 17?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's probably a little high because I can tell by how runny it is. Let's take a look. That's not too high though. 16 and a half is what we want. Between under 18 is what we want. And we are right at 17 and a half. So we're on the higher end of it, but it is what it is. Yeah, I'd say 17 and a half. Got a little more on there, you can get a better reading. All right, so we'll just let this filter out, and then I just want to make sure I don't get too much up in here, and then we'll extract the rest of it. So I got the extractor kind of leaning on its side, trying to get the last bit of honey out. You can see it down there. I wish this extractor, and I don't think any of them have it, but I wish they had like a little sump right down there, so that would all flow out a lot easier. But I just tilt it on its side for a while, let everything finish running down the walls and down over to that bottom, and just get as much as I can, and then we'll clean everything up.
So I pulled the basket out and then went in the house, got this out of the drawer. My wife won't be too mad on this case. Usually if I'm taking something out of there to bring to the garage, it's usually not good. But for honey, oh yeah, that'll be safe. I'll tell you, worked pretty hard to get this honey, so I don't really want to leave a whole lot. So anyways, I'm just going to go ahead and keep doing that and get all this out that I can, and then we'll go outside and clean it up. And I literally just spray it out with a garden hose and it cleans right up. So I took all the wax cappings that were in this tub and I scraped them into here and scraped a bunch of that honey out. Actually, it looks like I could scrape some more. I try not to waste any, but I don't know how good you can see down in there. It's kind of dripping. But that 5-gallon bucket's about half full. So that's pretty good. That would have been 10 frames total. You know, we got half a 5-gallon bucket. And this is going to continue to drip down. So we did pretty good. And what I'll do is set the lid. I'll just set the lid on that, and I'll leave that down in my basement for probably a week. Every couple days I'll go in there and just kind of move that wax around a little, but I'll just let it strain down there for about a week or so. I believe it's David Burns is the guy I watch on YouTube. I apologize for not knowing his last name. I'll put it in here. But anyways, he always says he likes to let the honey set for a while and let all those air bubbles rise up. So I do that. And like I said, this will just sit down in my basement while all of this capping drains through. And I'll do that for at least a week. You know, you'll have some that's setting up on the wax, so I'll come through and just kind of move it around. But I don't get in a big hurry. I just let it set down there, keep this lid on it, and let it all filter through, and it gives that honey time for the air to come back up. And this whole process, I mean, it works good for me doing it this way, so I'm going to keep doing it. And I'm going to take this all outside and clean everything up. And like I said, I just used the garden hose and it actually cleans up really nice. So I put the basket back in. You can see there's a little bit of honey down in there still. But one thing, some guys will just set all their equipment out and they let the bees clean it up for them. I don't have time for that today. Like I said, I got way too much going on. But it really is pretty easy. Just simply, that's it. I'll just use water on this. All my other stuff I already cleaned up, and I'll take it in the house and go ahead and clean it with soapy water too. But you really don't even have to. It's pretty clean. But anyways, I just simply rinse this with water, and we'll get most of that out of there. And once I get it to a certain point, I'll pull the basket out, and actually I'll do that just so I can dry it. But yeah, we pretty much just spray it out. You can see all the bits of wax and everything that was filtered out from when I cleaned the other stuff. That'll actually disappear in a couple days. The bees will find that and they will reclaim that. The GoPro has propolis and honey all over it, and those little sweat bees apparently like that. Half-inch nuts, take those off. Check the pocket, make sure it doesn't have holes in it. It doesn't. Throw those in my pocket. And then this comes off. And then you can take the basket out. And like I said, those are pretty well clean. I don't think I need to rinse them, do anything else with them. They're good. I'll take them in the garage and then I'll come back and finish rinsing this, but I mean, it looks really good. Real nice.
The honey's been sitting for about a week now in this bucket, and like I said before, that's supposed to let the air bubbles come up, and it does make a difference because I poured some directly off of it, and then now I've poured some, and you can see a lot less bubbles. So just want to show you guys what the finished product looks like. Lighting's less than ideal in our kitchen here, but I think you can see looks pretty good. And I forgot to, I should have opened that lid a little bit to let a little air up, or air inside. It would pour a little faster that way, but that's okay. Well, there's the finished product. That is some good looking honey. I appreciate you guys watching. I'm going to do a separate video of me going out into the hive to get another frame out of my hives here because I was short a frame in order to have them balanced in that honey extractor. So if you want, you can click up here and watch that video of me going out into the beehives. Thanks for watching.